As you can see, I'm getting my head around some new software. I've already recorded this once and it didn't record anywhere at all, which was rather exciting. So it looks like I can't stream to both YouTube and my Facebook group at once, but that is the point of this thing. So just bear with me while I try one more time. And if I don't succeed, I'm afraid I'll have to say bye-bye to YouTube. I'll come back to you another time. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Nah. Sorry, guys, I'll come back to YouTube another time. Oh, hold on, it says it's failed, and yet it looks like it's going live on both at once, and maybe we're all right. Okay, so now I'll go to here. Nothing showing here. I'm just going to do a brief one this time because the last one didn't do anything at all. So hopefully that's working. However, and I'm going to record as well. Hello there, I'm Dr. Allie, the professional women's menopause mentor, and I'm going to talk a little bit today about dementia and perimenopause and menopause. So as we go through perimenopause and menopause, as we women are going through this period of time, there are several other life events that are in juxtaposition. There are our kids growing up through their late teens and leaving home. And there are, well, hopefully leaving home, it depends, doesn't it, these days? And there are our parents growing older, maybe developing dementia. And my mom has dementia and is in a care home. My stepmother had dementia and it deteriorated suddenly last year, partly because of the lack of socialization that happened with COVID. And she indeed died in February of this year. So in common with many women who are in my target audience, who are my dream people, we all have this connection with dementia that makes us very aware. And therefore, when we start to notice the natural cognition changes of perimenopause, when we start to forget where we left our keys, for me, it was, I would catch the train up to London and not remember that I hadn't paid for my parking place on my app until I was on my way home, by which time I already had a parking ticket repeatedly. And that was obviously before COVID, BC. So we notice these changes in our memory and our cognitive abilities, and we start to worry about it being dementia because we're going through that with our parents. So I'm just going to briefly, because it's already 5 past midnight. Oh, glory be. And I really haven't had enough sleep lately. And I tell you what, one of the best ways of combating dementia is making sure you get enough sleep. So this is Post-Reproductive Health. It is the Journal of the British Menopause Society. And this is one from December 2019. And it caught my eye because of this fact of brain health and menopause being so important and so uppermost in our minds. So it's a review paper called Menopause, Cognition and Dementia, a review by Patesi, Coughlin, Patusa, Heripadi, Morris and Hornberger, who are based in Norwich. Wonderful. And they're talking about there being increasing evidence that the menopause changes can have an impact on our cognition and potentially the future development of dementia. In particular, we know the roles of reduced levels of estrogen in postmenopausal changes have been linked to an increased risk of developing dementia in observational studies. That means you look at people over time. So it's less accurate than a randomized controlled trial. With something that's looking over decades like this, it's much more difficult and very, very expensive to do a randomized controlled trial like that. And it's not really relevant to this situation specifically. So then people start wondering, you and I and the researchers together, whether postmenopausal hormone replacement therapy or bioidentical hormone replacement therapy might help to delay or avoid the cognition changes and maybe even the onset of dementia. But the evidence from trials has been very variable. So there are different trials there are some that show a benefit, definitely, some that show no change at all. There isn't even some that suggest a negative effect, but those tend to be in the ones that have looked at people from a later age. So they've started HRT or bioidentical hormone therapy. In fact, let's face it, there are very few of these studies on natural bioidentical hormone therapy. All the studies showing a problem have been in the other things. Well, I can't see that I'm here. I'm just having a quick look on my Facebook group, Menopause and Perimenopause Relief with Dr. Allie. Doesn't look like it's coming through. Maybe I should open YouTube and see if it's happening there, since YouTube got the button clicked sooner. So, in summary, there are a lot of changes. Estrogen's effect on the brain is one of improving synapse formation, increasing glucose transport across the blood-brain barrier, maintaining and contributing to cellular maintenance and survival of neurons, and reduction of oxidative cell damage. Effects of estrogen on cognition include improved object recognition, object location performance, executive functioning, verbal memory and fluency, and verbal and spatial working memory. So that's interesting. And then effects on dementia itself, there's a decreased formation. So with Alzheimer's disease, the post-mortem findings are of things called neurofibrillary tangles, and other things that are other changes in pathology. So in this case, the estrogen caused a decreased formation of neurofibrillary tangles, and post-mortem brain samples from female Alzheimer's disease patients show greater reductions of estrogen than in the ones without Alzheimer's disease. Administration of hormone replacement therapy for 2 to 3 years in the early menopausal years has been shown to decrease the risk of cognitive impairment. And there's one trial that showed a significant increase in the risk of dementia and mild cognitive impairment in late menopausal women, but the estrogen intervention tended to be later on when they were older. So that's just a summary, and we will now experiment and see whether anything actually happened in the world of my channel, for example. Anyway, good night. Lovely to see you, and have a great weekend. This is Dr. Allie, the Professional Women's Menopause Mentor. If you would like to find out more about working with me, joining my programs, why not join me in my free Facebook group, which is called Menopause / Perimenopause Relief with Dr. Allie. Bye now.